Every system is complex. As simple as we may exclaim something to be, the reality is that we don't see the complexities or we overlook a lot of them and then we call it simple because it's too difficult to understand if you look into all the details. So, your current position, your current circumstance, it's one in which you have seen more details than anyone else. That's why you feel the way you do. But others don't feel you because they don't understand those complexities. They don't see those things. They not only do they distracted by their own system, right, of complexities and intricacies and nitty-gritty details, but I don't know. I don't know. I think that's it. I think it's the fact that they have their own systems, so they cannot feel you or feel yours, your feelings, your emotions, everything that's sort of in your mind, the things you think, the way you express yourself, the emotions you try to convey hardly ever pass through. And that's because they're too in their own world, right? That's what we say, at least. They're in their own head. So right now you're probably feeling sad. Maybe you'd go as far as to say you're depressed, apathetic. This agonizing pain. Maybe it's grief and sorrow. But whatever it is, it's that. In my particular case, in my case, it's the anger and sorrow of not being the person I understand I have the potential to be, of not doing the things I understand I'm capable of not pushing myself to the point that I understand, of not pushing my limits, of not being an absolute war machine in terms of the things that I do or the things that I want to achieve, and not being laser focused. Today I had a thought, it was a sad thought. I looked at myself and I looked at myself in the mirror and I said, you could have been great. I'm 23 years old. A lot of people will be like, oh, you still got time, you still this, you still that. But that same feeling of when someone feels as though they've wasted all of their time and life is over, that's the feeling I felt. You could have been great. And I shook my head and walked away. So it's pretty simple, but it's not simple. It's not simple. I think I need to take that out of my vocabulary. It's pretty simple because it's not. But it's just a question of how deep you're willing to look. If you look at this, you call it a hoodie, right? It's a hoodie. But if you look deeper, you'll be like, oh, it's made out of this particular fabric. And then you look deeper and deeper and deeper. And new worlds of answers open themselves up to you. All the all the details, all the things that had to exist in order to allow such a thing as a hoodie, allow such an organism as myself to exist. Every nuanced event, every nuanced detail, it's not simple. It's a matter of how deep you're willing to inspect. So, the one thing I do need to do for myself, and perhaps you need to do for yourself, is make a schedule, a list. Make a schedule of times and set alarms on your phone and stick to that schedule. Be specific because the details matter and they affect how your day goes and then how what your life becomes. The way in which you follow the schedule affects what your life becomes. And I'd say try to follow it to its T, to the T, right? The idea is try to follow it perfectly. If you say wake up at 7, I don't care if you slept at 5, wake up at 7. Do this, do that, be done by this time. I don't care what happens, be done by the time. It's not simple. It's not easy. It's probably the most difficult thing you could ask yourself to do, but that's why it's worth doing. It's worth doing because it allows you to never say that to yourself again. And what that is essentially what I said to myself. You could have been great. It allows you to do those things that you know will lead you towards that being great and leaves no excuse, no room for excuse. The only room for excuse would be you failed to follow the steps. And that's on you. There's no, I got distracted by my phone. I got distracted by this and that. It's all on you to stick to that schedule. That's why it's important to make them. A lot of people don't say that. And it also goes deeper than just what I've explained. But I don't want to go deeper than that. A lot needs to change in your life and in mine. This journey, this path isn't easy, right? It's the hardest thing you could ever do. The road to self mastery, something like that, right? To know thyself, the greatest of all victories, the hardest thing in the world, the only way to conquer the world, the greatest of all wisdoms, to know thyself. It's not simple, it's not easy. But the question is, if you don't do this, what are you going to do? What else is there to do? What are you going to do? What are you going to do? You don't know. There is no answer. At least for me, there's no answer. Because anything other than this is death. Anything other than this is choosing not to live. Anything other than this is, well, the idea would be that it isn't. To be or not to be. To be is to engage, to live. That's me defining the terms right now. To be would be to engage, to live, to exist, to be a part of, and not to be would be to not engage, to not exist, to not live, to not be a part of, or be something. To just it is you is or is you ain't. That's essentially where I'm coming from. I am and I am not. That's the difference between the roads in my view. If you if I choose anything but this path. So sometimes it's not the best path, sometimes it sucks, sometimes it hurts, sometimes I suffer, sometimes I do horrible things. I reveal to myself what kind of person I truly am. And I look at that monster that is me. And there's a part of me that resents it and hates it. There's a part of me that really despises this thing that I am. Because I wish I could be the thing I want to be. But the only thing in my way, the only thing preventing me from being what I want to be is what I am now. So it hinders my progress. And I say, and when I say it, I mean I hinder my own progress. I am the one standing in my own way. I am the thing I want to eradicate. There are, I think, I don't remember who it was, but it's a particular quote where the person says, live in a way where there is nothing that you could not tell your closest friend as well as your enemy, something along those lines. Live in a way where there's nothing that you could not share with your closest friend or share with your enemy. Yeah, something along those lines. But the idea is that if you were to be honest to everyone, There is nothing you wouldn't share with your closest friend as well as share with your enemy, with the person who is in opposition to you or is against you or wants the worst for you. There's nothing you couldn't share with this person that you could share with that person because the truth is what it is. And if you choose to just be that, engage in the truth, if you choose to just engage in that dance, to be a part of that particular thing. There's a little mosquito here. Now there's no little mosquito. Maybe, I don't know, maybe I missed it. But um, if you choose to be anything outside, like the point is have no skeletons in your closet. Live in a way where you just have no skeletons in your closet. There's nothing you do in private. So I think it was Socrates who says, live in a way where you could act the same way in public as you do in private. Or I, there's just, I don't know, there's like, I'm not finding the words right now. But the point is, having skeletons in your closet means you have something to hide. And having something to hide means that there is potentially something you're doing that you either should not be doing, or if it's not something that you should not be doing, it's something that goes against your moral code or your character in some way or other. That's the only reason you hide it, right? And I'm talking specifically about your own behaviors, your own actions and character traits in private and in public. In public, if you choose to hide your personal life, that's cool, right? You don't have to show everyone and everything. You don't have to show anyone anything. You don't have to tell anyone anything or show them it or show them anything about you. But if it's something like I caught you in the act, like wanking, for example. And I use wanking because it's so common around the world. You get caught wanking, you don't, it's not your proudest moment, is it? That's so funny. Just imagining someone getting caught wanking is just hilarious. It's not your proudest moment because I don't know why, but you don't feel too good about it. That's why you do it in private. That's why you hide. Yeah. Yeah. But